I bet that you have lots of sewing questions that you just don't even know how to type into Google, because where do you even start? I know this because I have those questions sometimes, but I put it out to you on an Instagram and my followers on Instagram and asked like, what was the last sewing question that you typed into Google? I had so many amazing responses, and as I was reading through them, I thought, you know what, this would make a really great video. I'm just going to fire off really like rapid fire, quick style, and answer as many of these questions as I can in, say, let's say 10 minutes, and I'm just going to answer as many as I can. The questions are sort of short, single sentence, so we should be able to just get through heaps and heaps and heaps. That is what we are doing in today's video. I'm used to doing Q&A style in Vintage Sewing School. This is what we do every month, but it's really long form, so this is going to be really fun, I think, trying to go as quick as possible and answer as many as possible in 10 minutes, starting now. How to measure a waistband properly for a circle skirt with and without a button. I would say really focus on marking in your center back, or let's just say it's a back zip, your center back on each side of the band, and then your extension either just folds out from there either way. So your center always remains, but your extension, your button extension, will move around from there. What's the difference between normal machine thread and overlocker thread? You can use both for each. Traditionally, overlocker thread is like a woolly thread, because then it covers more of the actual seam and it frays a little bit less. But I generally use, just the big cones on my overlocker. You'll probably find that your machine will handle that as well. How to adjust bobbin tension. The little screw on the bobbin, if you have a bobbin case that actually comes out, the metal case, there's a little screw that is your bobbin tension. If it's all in your machine, refer to your sewing machine manual. Looking for a 1930s style wrap top. Okay, can't answer that one. These are all typed into Google, like what everybody asked into Google. So some I can't answer, of course. I was trying to find out if my machine could use a twin needle. Is there a list of universal needles? Yes, so most machines can use a twin needle. You need to be able to put 2 spools of thread on your machine somewhere and you thread them through at the same time. I've never really used it very much. It's not my kind of thing, but you should be able to. Hopefully you found Google helped you with that. What are standard settings for tension, length, width on a sewing machine? Always have trouble. There's not really a standard. 2.5 is a standard stitch length, either between 2.3 and 2.7, or say 2.5. But as for the width, I mean, that goes for a zigzag. It depends on what you're sewing. And tension, it depends on your machine. So again, refer to your machine manual because it will be specific for your machine. How to taper a wide leg pant. Short answer, come join us at Vintage Sewing School. I have tutorials on that. Definitely can't answer that in this video, but I have answered before. How to add extra ease onto a pattern. Oh, that was a hard one to Google. Yeah, I mean, it's just a case of knowing patterns and knowing how to make them bigger and smaller and where you want it, and to be able to add that in. Again, can't really answer much more than that on this video. How to make things symmetrical, i.e. both pant legs even. This is easy. I would suggest, it's a hard one to type into Google, I know. Lay each side, like get your garment, fold it in half, lay them on top of each other, and you'll know whether they're the same or not. That's the easiest surefire way, is always to just fold it on top of each other and find out. Waistbands, then I watched your YouTube video. That's excellent. That was last week's video on waistbands. How to understand alterations. Oh yeah, I mean, that's a hard one to actually type into Google again. Alterations and any refashioning, I think, is really about undoing what you've done. So you have a ready-made garment and you have to undo it, so unpick everything to get to that point where you need to alter, and then redo it in the same order that it was sewn. So always take note of the order of the things that you're undoing, how it was sewn originally, because you're just replicating what was already there, and backtrack to put it back together. That's the short answer anyway. Can I use a walking foot on stretchy fabric? Oh, interesting. Yes, again, it's more about needle and everything. Walking foots are more for slippery fabrics and sticky and thick things rather than stretchy fabrics, but every machine's different, depends on what you're sewing. The answer for most things in sewing is it depends, right? How to make a gift card holder. I have a video on that, so that's the short answer there for you on this one. How to make fabric flowers from natural fabric without fraying. Yes, I obviously can't give you any tutorial here, but I love those fabric flowers. Let me see. There's so many here. A lot I can't answer, obviously, like invisible hem. I can't really show you how to do that right here. What overlocker should I get as it's on sale? Can't obviously give you any recommendations there or answer that one. So how to do a placket in a man's long sleeve shirt for the 600th time. Yeah, you know, when you type something into Google and it already comes up because you've searched it before. Yeah, so I think you may have already found your answer there. How to sew a stuffed peanut. I can't say I've ever stuffed a peanut before, so hopefully you've already found your answer for this one. Okay, what are the rules of dart placement for a bodice? Interesting. Okay, dart placement. I would say probably, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, but I would think the dart placement really depends on a look that you're going for and a bit of your fit. So there's a thing of pivoting the dart. So this is where you move the dart around to suit. So for instance, the standard dart sort of usually sits about here, but you could have it on a slanted slope, very popular in the 60s. You could have a waist dart underneath that creates shape for your bust. I like to actually pivot the darts to a shoulder dart a lot of the time and have that shape come up and through here. So rules for dart placement, it's more about what you like and the fitting needed. So I wouldn't say there are any rules. As long as you understand what you're doing, you can know how to break them. And, you know, it's always the fun of sewing, right? How to order fabric online as a new sewist and don't know about fabric weight, drape, etc. Yeah, this one's really hard. I get a lot of people asking this, especially now, a lot of us in lockdown can't go out to fabric stores, how to buy fabric online. It is hard. It's something that it's really hard because you really can only get to know fabrics when you can touch and feel it yourself. So, you know, you can read all the books or get all the information, watch any videos, but until you touch and feel and really know what that means in your mind by the feel, it's really hard to learn. So I would definitely say just try and find fabrics that you can, you know, the names of different things, and very importantly, the weight, what thickness it feels. So the weight, grams per square meter, GSM, will refer to how heavy it is, which often is obviously how thick it is. The heavier, so more structured, usually then goes for outerwear and bottoms, and you want lighter things for tops and dresses, say. But it is hard, and probably more than I can answer in this quick video. Always yards to meters, centimeters to inches, yeah. Me too, yeah. How to resize a pattern and also how to sew on a zipper by hand. Okay, yep, I can't answer any of those ones in this video. When am I supposed to tie off stitches versus backstitch? Yeah, so tying off stitches, that means sort of manually tying off rather than backstitching. I would say pretty much the only place I really do this is mostly darts at the very pointy end. So manually tying it off rather than backstitching. The backstitching can be hard to control in a tiny little dart point, and so manually doing it gives you more control and less bulk, less pointiness basically for darts. That's pretty much the only place I do, unless of course it depends. Maybe you have something special, a different fabric going on, maybe it works for you to manually tie off the ends sometimes, but generally there's not much need except for darts, at least most commonly anyway. Does the table with the sewing machine have to be near a window for natural or better light? Yes, it doesn't have to be so near a window, but you do need good lighting. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you can put it near a window, that is great, because obviously you'll need less lights going all the time, but you need extra light. You need a well-lit room for sewing 100%. So yes. How can I size up a pattern to fit me? Yes, you need to learn, it's kind of grading. That's what's called grading, is upsizing a pattern. Obviously, I can't show you how to do that in this tutorial, in this video, but there's a lot of that. So I think it might be something that we might have to talk about further in the future. What understitching? Saw your video instantly. You have my video already videos ready for my ... Okay, so great. I'm glad you found the understitching video and you have that all covered now. That is perfect. How are we going? Oh my goodness, not much time left. How do I fix the pucker on my sleeveless dress top? Oh, I don't know what the pucker is like, but probably just unpick it and restitch it again. How to use the blind hem stitch on my banana? Yeah, refer to your sewing machine manual. Okay, there's a lot here. I can't answer how to do Scotch darning. You need to see Miss Matti for that one. She has a tutorial. She's an internet friend of mine, another sewist. She has a tutorial for you. I'll put a link down below. How do I line up buttonholes? Ooh, yeah, that one's is a big one. I don't know if you mean from each side or down the middle. From each side, again, your center, like front, let's just say it's an extension down the front, your center front always stays the same. So that's where you're exactly where your buttons are and where your buttonholes start. And then your buttonholes come this way, but your button extension comes this way, but the center line still matches and just either side goes forth, and that's where your buttons and everything match up perfectly, is that center line. So always keep that in mind. That's the point, that's the stationary point that always stays the same. A little bit hard to explain more in this video, of course. How to attach sleeves. Yeah, a lot of people have a hard time with sleeves. Yeah, I would say it's all in the pinning, like pinning it really well to start with, and notches. You need notches, absolutely. You couldn't do sleeves without notches to actually ease it in properly. So that's the key, I think, to me. How to make your own piping. Yes, so really easy. Let me see. Probably sure you found a tutorial, but you can just use bias tape. You need bias strips. So bias strips, and you just wrap it around a cord. I like a natural cord, it's nice and flexible. And then you sort of stitch that together with a zipper foot right along the edge so that you've just got that bulge for the piping. That's your piping, and you've just made your own piping. It's pretty easy. Oh, we ran out of time a minute 22 ago. Okay, right. There are still hundreds of questions here, my goodness. Okay, literally there's hundreds of questions. I didn't realize there are so many here. Perhaps we need a part 2. We'll get to that potentially. Let me know how you liked this video. Potentially, if you did enjoy this rapid fire session questions, leave your questions for me below. Remember, keep them short and sweet so I can do a quick rapid fire question and hopefully answer some of those really hard to answer questions that you type into Google, or a little bit of fun as well. Okay, my friends, until next time, happy sewing. Leave those questions down below, and I've linked down some videos in the description box that I think that you'll really like too, that relate to some of the things that we've pointed out here today. Happy sewing, my friends. Bye.